Hey everybody, welcome to the Download Youth Ministry webcast. Doug Fields here with the Queen, Katie Edwards, the Cyclops, Matt McGill, the host who's not a host,
Hello.
Josh Griffin.
Great to see you.
And our special guest for a second or third time?
Dressed like
I don't know. Like, is this third?
Third time.
Third time,
Seems like
Mark
the third time.
Matlock.
This is the first time here.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
So we got a new
What are you
studio.
doing with all of our sponsorship dollars?
I don't know. We just,
It's
like
like, right.
spent $200 at IKEA.
Well, I see you stole my color, my YS blue. You know how much market research I spent picking that
Holy
color, and you
shoot,
guys just
sorry.
copped it.
We thought
Like,
DYM was YS.
Man,
yeah, we are
It is,
YS. Come on.
We're just a small little
Yeah.
child. We're
Yeah,
a baby.
I liked it better when the YS was in the center. Now it's like over on the side. It's like,
Just
what's
for-
up with the who
Wait,
designs your
Hey,
sets?
it can be in the center. It just costs.
Oh, I see.
Unreal. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey,
Great to see
and
you.
so thank you, you specialties, for being our primary sponsor. You know, probably the last.
Primary spot. It used to be powered by YS. Now it's just
What would you like?
primary.
What would you like?
We're in jeopardy
What
right
would you
now.
like?
I
We're-
like powered by.
hey,
I like powered by.
We're just
side.
no. We're just. Happy.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
We're just happy that you guys are
note.
continuing this incredible.
That's right.
Hey, Matlock, look at this. 237 episodes.
237 hours of our
That's
lives.
crazy.
That's 10 days.
That
give
is
or take.
absolutely
100 days?
crazy.
How many?
I know.
It's
I
all
know.
High quality podcast.
Hey, one of the things we have been talking about is YS team training, and we've been talking about it kind of prophetically.
I've only watched about a fourth of those. Wow. I feel like I have that much longer to live than you guys.
Yes,
Wow.
you're going to be a
Yeah.
rewinder in another 8 years, which is great.
Yeah.
So
I've
here's
done some rewinding. I'll admit it.
here's the
I'll
deal.
admit it.
We've been talking about team training, but none of us have been yet. And
Yeah.
because tonight is the
It's
first
the first one.
here
We're
in
kicking it
Orange
off
County.
tonight.
What
Mr.
can you
Josh Griffin.
What can you say about it?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be one of the more exciting things YS has done in a while. We've really been listening to what is going on in the church and listening to youth pastors. I mean, basically, YS exists because of what everybody does in the church. So we're just trying to serve, and we just heard people saying we need a place that we can bring our teams. It's affordable, it's cost effective, but we get some great world-class training. And so we put this thing together. It's one fee. You can bring up to 15 of your team. And so, yeah, we've got several hundred coming tonight.
And it's a Friday,
Almost 500.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And it is, I know Josh and I are at a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's
Seattle,
so fun.
Kansas City,
Chicago. The
Orlando.
three of us are doing Chicago.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
That's going to be
What's
awesome.
that weekend?
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to leave you out.
What is
It
that
is
weekend?
going to be great fun.
You're asking me questions that you
It
shouldn't
is
ask me.
March
I'm mostly fine.
first weekend in March?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
That's
great.
going to be the best one. And they're all going to be great. Hopefully tonight will go great, but I'm stoked about
It's
Chicago.
gonna be awesome.
It's going to be great.
You're gonna
Yeah.
be great.
But what's
It
great
has
is, like,
to.
for the
They've been
cost of
praying.
coming to, like, one convention, you can bring your whole team.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, is figure out how to make that work. And we're covering some really just great foundational things that you want your volunteers to know. And there's lots of time to interact and dream. And I think that's what makes it cool. It's not just sit and listen to lectures,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of time to interact.
Well, one of the things that I noticed is when I would go to a convention or a big national event or something, I would come back and everyone's like, "Oh, Pastor Josh was at the conference
Right.
again," Where this is cool because we
Is
literally
that what
the
you
whole
have the
team.
volunteers call you as Pastor Josh?
They did.
Yes.
Okay. And so I love
call
it
him
because
Pastor
now we
Josh,
can all
too.
have that experience
what I
together.
call
We
him?
can dialogue it and take
Yes.
it away.
I'll tell you one of the bonus things that happened.
A bonus?
Bonus, because we tested this in a
Wait,
couple
there's
areas
more!
before. The volunteers learned about the National Youth Workers Convention, and so some of them said, "Well, why don't you go to the national?" Well, we can only go every other year, or our budget only. And so the volunteer said, "Hey, this helped us understand what's going on in the youth ministry. We had no idea there was research going on and
Cool.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
We want you to go to that." And so they opened it. So it's pretty cool.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you get more bought-in volunteers when they're all speaking the same language.
Absolutely. So our last show, we talked to Duffy Robbins, and we were asking him,
Heard of him?
Yeah, he
He wrote a book on programming for discipleship or something.
Yeah, he mentions it a lot in that show. But you say you've been listening to churches. What have you been hearing? What's the youth ministry world saying?
Some of it is what's not being said. And I think one of the interesting things is considering kind of the economic situation that our country's in right now, and the churches have definitely taken the hit on. I don't hear a lot of people complaining about budgets and lack of funds. I know that it's affecting them, but it's inspiring creativity, innovation. It's drawing people back to relationship instead of, sparkle and shine kind of youth ministry. And it's really, I think it's that really shocked me. I thought to hear a lot about how bad the economy's wiped them out, and that hasn't really been something that I've heard. Cool. So there's that, and then I'd say another big thing is just how busy teens are. Yep. And that's something that we're tackling at the National Youth Workers Convention this year in some different ways, is how do we engage teens that are having a harder time in their calendars, to participate.
And when you say National Youth Workers Convention, for those that aren't there, we have a national convention twice a year in the fall.
Sacramento
in October, and then Atlanta in November.
Yeah. And I wish I could tell you some of the names we've got coming.
What do you think about Katie? Can we get Katie there?
They're big.
Can we get Katie there?
Huh?
Yeah, let's put you on the spot for a Katie right now. Let's do it. We could use some Katie. Both.
She turned us down last year. We don't pay very
big time.
much.
She's big time.
We keep our prices low, experience high.
Keep her honorarium low.
Yeah, she was like, my kids have to eat. It costs me money to come and speak for you. So, but
what if we all pitch in and try to get you a little bit more?
What if Doug gives you his honorarium?
Yeah.
I'd go if it was. Oh wait, what?
I could drop the price of the conference $100 if Doug didn't charge so much.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's going to be expensive. All right.
Why can't you tell us who's going to be there?
Because
it's a secret.
Some of them are not completely confirmed, but we're really close.
If we guess, can you just give us like a nod?
Here's the thing. I could tell you, and then you could edit it out if they don't actually end up coming.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay. We just say they may or may not come.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
Because this isn't going to be on for a week.
Okay, so
welcome back, everybody. Wow, that was
good.
Big names.
Can you believe that? We got them to come.
This show is going to be unbelievable.
Incredible.
Come to National Youth Workers Convention.
I love Jeannie Mayo.
So one of the things that we do is people give us names of, have this person speak, have this person speak. I put them into a Wordle so that I can see the names that pop. And right big in the center is Francis Chan's name. And that's all I'll say about that.
There you go. So that's good to know.
And you wouldn't say his name if we don't have him.
And another one is
just when you're doing this, we can just be like Doug Fields.
Exactly. We're friends. Doug Fields.
And but we also have in Sacramento, we have Patrick Lencioni.
Toby Matt.
That's great.
Wow.
And so for those people that kind of know about building teams and things like that, Lencioni's one of the...
Wait, we really do have him?
He's coming to Sacramento.
I've read everything he's ever written. I'm serious.
Yeah, he is so excited about coming.
And Beth Moore. We asked her.
And
Gladwell, they're all going to be
Seth
there.
To laugh.
Okay.
That's good. Clinton, everybody's coming. All right, this is
see you there
from Ronald Long. He says the high school pastor and I are doing calendar planning.
Who?
Ronald Long.
Tick's Long's real first name is Ronald. People don't know that. But
that's special.
That's kind of weird. Maybe this is from Tick.
I didn't know that.
And Tick used to have your job.
Yeah, President of YS for a long time.
He did.
Yeah.
Ronald is what I call him.
And Tick, what we want to say is sorry you got canned.
He did not get canned.
You and Matt.
He handed me the crown.
He gracefully exited.
Yeah,
Burger King crown.
His position was terminated, is what we like to say in McGill language.
It was not.
Anyway, they're planning.
2 years to sack him. Working my way up from the bottom.
We're trying to figure out if having a Christmas party is the best way.
He's a BYM author, by the way. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Ronald Tick Long?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out if we are having a Christmas party is the best way to show our leaders that we appreciate them.
Got 11 months to plan this one.
Well, when was this email submitted?
January 21st.
Yeah.
What's
this
today?
Week
Monday.
or whatever. Yeah. All right.
Tuesday.
Just checking.
Just someone's
So
thinking ahead.
You probably
sarcastic.
came off of Martin Luther King Day. I was like, I got to start thinking about
I was
Christmas.
angry last
I got to
episode,
think.
apparently.
Should I go Easter? Nope. Christmas.
Yeah.
Summer camp? Nope.
Ronald, I'm sorry. Appreciate you. Thanks for contributing to Download Youth Ministry.
I just want to say I'm impressed that he's thinking so far in advance. That's
The Christmas season just seems like a rush and a busy time. What are some suggestions for letting leaders know they're appreciated in a big way? Katie, go.
Yep. Nobody better.
Katie's the best at this, Matlock.
Didn't we answer this question last week?
No.
Harry and David, Royal Riviera Paris.
That's right.
Nothing says I love you.
Send your
Grandma
volunteers
gives us
on an
that every
international
year. I
trip.
love those
Yes.
pears.
That's
Well,
what
I
I
think-
love, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
A couple
man.
things.
So juicy.
I think that
Delicious.
it's really great to know when your volunteers are hitting milestones. So if they finish their first year or their 5th year or something like that. So when volunteers start tracking like their start dates and things like that, because you can end up encouraging and appreciating people kind of all year round versus just Christmas. We actually don't do a whole lot of big stuff at Christmas. We just go out to dinner together and have a meal together, and we don't even do a Christmas gift or anything like that. It's just time together. But thinking throughout the year, appreciation, there's so many great ways you can appreciate volunteers, birthdays, anniversaries, just by paying attention to life. Populate your calendar with all of those different things.
Yeah.
Little bits of appreciation all throughout the year, I think, end up going a longer way than one big gesture. So, one big gift sometimes is great, but paying attention to milestones, praying for people when things are happening, that kind of appreciation keeps people around for the long haul, I think.
And so it's fair for him to say, everybody kind of expects Christmas to be the time where you appreciate the volunteers. It's a fair question to say, are they really getting the bang for the buck, or are they just going, hey, they're doing this because it's Christmas anyway?
What if you went and said, hey, the hardest time leading a small group is probably late February, March, where the Christmas is gone, the fall hype is gone, the school year is in that drudgery period, and they got to get to May?
Yeah.
Well, what if you said, okay, the end of February, early March is when we're going to do our small
A
group
big volunteer party.
leader appreciation thing. Yeah, that could be a great idea.
Wow.
What do we have here?
Wow.
You guys, look what I just got for you.
Thank you. Use Specialties. Powered by...
Powered
Which
by-
is which?
I've been
That's
instructed
yours.
this one.
That was mine.
Thank you.
I'm
Just right
this
there.
orange thing right here. I think,
You just put your finger in it.
All right.
pretty sure. Thank you, Julia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's
Thank
Julia.
you. Our first intern for Download Youth Ministry, right here. This is so exciting. This is great.
Freshman in high school. She aced her math test yesterday, got 103.
Powered by
What
Starbucks.
in the
Cafe.
world?
Seriously.
Is that
How do you get 103?
I hope this was made with humankind water. I accept no substitutes.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Did we give him enough?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I would just say that as a volunteer in my youth ministry, the Christmas thing doesn't bother me at all. I enjoy the Christmas.
Tang.
Hey,
What are you drinking?
I
that
love
is a
those.
Valencia orange cooler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that is the
aren't they
worst.
incredible?
Too
No.
much
So they
Scotch in
taste
there?
like Tang, right? I love them.
No, it does taste like Tang.
Just
That's
like Tang.
that's
There's a
it.
little
That's
something in here.
That's right.
No,
Intern.
but
I
it's
drink those.
like grown up Tang.
Yeah.
And but
So you're
but
saying
no,
Christmas is all good?
but I like the people. I mean, for me, it isn't drudgery. It's fun, and we've always had a fun time when we've done things as volunteers. But I do understand you have to know your. I think Katie's
maybe
absolutely
earlier
right.
in the
know
month.
your volunteers. If your volunteers don't enjoy being together, or that would be more disruptive.
yeah. Go
Or
back.
don't feel the pressure to throw a party, do
Yeah.
an open house or a get together or something like
Cook
that.
out steaks.
But
What
do those
you
things
what you
throughout
said
the
was
year.
perfect. It was better than all of us
Yeah.
could have ever said.
But don't
combined.
wrap. But I agree with her. Don't wrap it all up into one party. I'd rather get little things throughout the year that were meaningful.
For a long time, Katie would just send things in the mail, things that you would not expect to get in the mail, like a bag of
socks.
Cheetos.
That's my favorite.
And it
thing
says,
to do.
sorry,
I love
this
the
is
mail.
cheesy, but we love you and appreciate you. And a bag of Cheetos has like a stamp on it. She was so creative. She
I
would
like
send.
the mail.
Was?
I like
Was?
getting
I
things
don't know
in
if
the
it's
mail.
still a thing. It feels like it might be a couple seasons ago.
I probably do that for my students a little bit more,
Yeah.
but I love sending things in the mail. Volunteers, I love to get mail that's not a bill or junk. It's so
Amen,
wonderful.
amen.
So cards, I'm big on
Handwritten
cards.
notes
Things
are a
in the
big
mail.
deal.
I think
Yeah.
are fun.
People don't get handwritten notes anymore.
I
That's a
know,
big deal.
I love
You can't
it.
read my writing.
I feel appreciated right now, Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in the mail, huh?
Reminds me that I'm volunteering doing this show still.
All right, Caleb Lyles.
Aren't we all?
Caleb Lyles, Countryside Christian Church. Matt, sorry you got canned.
Oh,
What
there
are
it is.
some ways to keep volunteers? So we're going to have 3 volunteer questions
That's
in a
a lot
row.
of volunteer
Wow.
questions.
A lot of Katie.
Volunteer show.
What are some ways that you keep volunteers and encourage them to stay after they take a semester off or take some time off? I've been a youth pastor at my church for 3+ years, and each year we've had volunteers that took some time off, and because they got busy in life, they didn't come back to be a volunteer like they agreed they would. The only volunteer I've kept for longer than 2 semesters is my wife. We are in a small youth ministry of under 30 students, and I
Stuck it out.
feel one reason our growth has been hindered is because youth sponsors haven't stuck around. Because volunteers haven't stuck around, I end up using select college students who are more than willing to say yes, but also less reliable in the long run as they get jobs, change colleges, and get married. Any thoughts and responses are helpful.
The people that are just serving for a short time, those aren't college students. They're like just whoever.
Yeah,
Did he say that?
that's kind of what he's saying, that really he winds up going, dipping into the college barrel to fill his volunteer needs.
Well, I would say this. One thing I found when I was a volunteer, and I've been a volunteer in my youth ministry for a couple decades. This last couple years, because my kids are in the youth group, I took a little hiatus as I've been transitioning into the YS thing. But I like that I was given a contract kind of at the beginning that kind of said this is what's kind of expected of you.
Yep.
And this is the duration of your commitment. And so there was an opportunity to re-up. And a natural feeling. I didn't have to have that awkward conversation of, hey, I need to take a little time off or whatever. Because what's probably happening is people are saying, I don't know how to get out of this commitment,
Yeah.
And so by giving them an exit point that's a healthy thing, and it's okay.
Yep.
You're going to have some turnover, but making sure you really understand what are the expectations. But I think for me, when I've been the most satisfied as a volunteer, it's been when I've been put in a position to win with teenagers. And a lot of times, I've had about 5 different youth pastors that I've been a volunteer for at our church, and sometimes I wasn't put in a situation to win, to where I was it was really draining, stressful, and so help me succeed and help me win.
So tell us
with
the
students.
names of the crappy youth pastors.
No, they weren't crappy. They weren't crappy. We had great youth pastors at our church. I'm proud of them all. But there are times when I felt it was easier to succeed in what I was being expected to do.
Yeah.
And that made me want to stay in it longer, because I was like, I felt great. I mean, working with teenagers is hard, and sometimes you feel really awkward and uncomfortable, as the outsider. So anything we can do to help them win and succeed.
That's a great principle. It's a great principle. So,
Yeah.
you've got people that are leaving at semesters. What I would say to Caleb is that I think if that's happening to me, I've got to hold the mirror up and go, okay, what is it about my leadership? Not saying that it's 100% you, but let's say it's 10% you. It's still worth holding the mirror up and say, what could it be about my leadership that is causing these people to exit early?
Yeah.
Because most people, 90% of the people are not going to tell you the truth.
Right.
They're going to say, I'm too busy, my husband got a new job, my kids are in this, and I'm just, it's just I need a season off.
My kids are in the youth group now.
Yeah.
Oh, I used that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Ooh, time out. That was kind of the truth.
But to be able to really find out what is it about my leadership that might be contributing to that. Again, Caleb, let's say it's a 10%er. So there's
Well, I'll give you a couple examples of where I have had to hold the mirror up and seen where I've screwed up. One is that I found myself recruiting people who were already overcommitted. They were already the people that had volunteered everywhere else. So no wonder they didn't last, because they were overcommitted. And then the more painful one is that I recruited people and I got them and I never really plugged them into something legitimate. And they kind of showed up, and this ties in a little bit to yours, but they kind of showed up and didn't think they were really mission critical. And so when they bowed out, it was like, well, I wasn't really doing a whole lot anyhow. I kind of stood in the back with my arms folded. And I was really eager to recruit them, but then never really assigned, coached, trained, made them understand what their role was. So after a semester, they were gone. So those are 2 mistakes I make.
I had a volunteer recently who, she's a small group leader. This was just a couple weeks ago. She called me and she was in tears because she was like, I just found out, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and this is happening, and I feel like I need to step out of my small group. I have a co-leader, but, what should I do? And I said, and I told her, I said, look, I understand that life happens at times, and sometimes there are times where you need to step out for a bit or step away to clearly there were some major things happening in her life, and so we had this conversation where I gave her a few different options of what we could do, like, hey, well, what if we do this, or you take a break and then this happens. So we hang up the phone, and then she calls me back 2 hours later, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I was hysterical. She's like, I had a chance to just kind of pause and, like, think through the options that you gave me, and, You know, she's like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to step away for 2 weeks, and then,
Cool.
And then come back and, stay with my same group and everything. But on the original phone call, she was like, I've got to quit.
Done.
And
Done.
I was like, okay. So I think sometimes even as youth pastors, if we can kind of just journey with people and kind of help them navigate things.
Talk
and
them off the ledge.
hold them to commitment, but also give them some freedom to process and work some things out. Sometimes in the midst of a crisis, it's like, I've got it all or nothing, I'm done, Yeah. But if you can kind of stay in relationship and communication with people, then I think sometimes they pause and they're like, oh, I don't need all this time off. I'm ready to, and she's already jumped back in. That was 3 weeks ago.
That's
and she's
cool.
jumped back in after she had a little time to pause. So I think sometimes when you're in relationship with your volunteers and you're really just journeying with them, you are, you can kind of track these breaks and things like that and help them come in and out of ministry from time to time. So the commitment is great, and I definitely think that's a huge thing. I think a school year is always a great commitment time frame,
Absolutely.
for students and for you. But I think there's times when you're in a relationship where you can kind of navigate some of that stuff personally with them. So something to think about too.
That's good. You got anything on
That's
that?
good. Nope.
Yeah. What are you thinking about?
I'm just listening, soaking it all in.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm not
You're
sure.
welcome.
He's getting ready for his exposition.
Has that happened
No,
before?
that's
No,
237
when we have
episodes.
a lot of people on the show, I'm usually a little bit more quiet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
He takes it down a notch.
yeah.
Like you made a joke about me. I didn't interrupt Duffy, I don't think. Last time?
Oh yeah, you did.
No.
Yeah. You want to? Let's bet on that.
No.
Oh,
I
wow.
Think,
It's
well,
on.
I should say
I'll
that.
back-
I think I only interrupted him once or twice, is what I'm really trying to say.
Yeah.
Which
If you
doesn't
don't
really
talk, if you don't talk very much
Yeah.
when there's guests, people aren't going to want guests on the show.
That's
And then
true.
what am I going to do?
That's
No,
exactly
they'll
right.
want the guests more, is really what's happening.
No.
No, but if you watched a
That's
few
not
weeks ago
true.
when he wasn't here, we had Jason Carson, who was the original
That was the silent show?
original guy for the Supertones, great youth pastor in our area. It's really good.
How
Like
much
I
was
thought,
it?
oh okay, we could skip Matt every once in a while.
No.
I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can skip Matt every week. I'm
No,
okay with
come
that.
on, just
Matt.
every other week.
No, just every other week.
We had to have a new shirt. Sorry you got canned again.
Yeah.
Like a little taped again on it.
Gordon DeWitt says, what are some strategies you all have to bring a team of volunteers together? I have a mix of newer and veteran volunteers. I'm trying to figure out how to gel the team and get them all pulling in the same direction toward our mission.
Bowling. That's what you do. That's
Totally.
Bowling.
bowling.
All right, there it is, Gordon.
There it is.
Next question.
Enjoy
Done.
that answer.
Just as
All right, I'll start.
as-
Okay, let's stop for a second.
Okay.
Bowling is a great idea. Let's just put it that way.
Honestly,
fun
yes.
together.
I actually was a part of an interview one time where we
that
hired
laser?
somebody, and one of the reasons that we hired somebody is after youth group, he said, I take my volunteers out bowling. And I thought, I just remember that was one answer that stuck out. I thought, good for him. That he knows how to build a team,
Yeah.
hang with volunteers, stuff like that. He didn't turn out to be a very a relational guy. So years later, I was like, really? Maybe he was really into bowling.
Just
And
love bowling.
yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
love
I
the
mean,
people.
great,
Play your
great,
strengths,
well,
that's
great
what
guy,
you
great youth worker, but not overly relational. And so
Maybe he just knew how to do the scoring of bowling, and that was it. That's what he brought
It was
to the table.
complicated back then,
It
too.
is,
Now
yeah.
it's all computerized.
Well, having an activity, if you're not a super relational person, helps.
Helps
little
break
bit.
down
Yeah,
the
have an
for
activity.
sure.
And what a great way to release frustration, right? Just
In bowling.
throwing that
why do you
ball
look
down
at
the
Matt
hall.
when you say that?
Yeah.
Because he's the angry
Because I
guy.
was so
Pent up
angry last
anger.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say, in all honesty, though, fun is a big deal. Bowling is an example of that. Food is great. I would cook out. This is when I was in a little smaller context. I would cook out, just grill out steaks every single month with our volunteers. Built a team over food, laughing, talking, playing. It was great. And then this sounds like a little bit of an infomercial, but traveling to a training or an event or to hear a speaker or something.
For
Like
example,
YS team training.
For example, YS team training.
He's
What a
actually doing
plug.
that. He's
What a
taking
brilliant
his
idea.
leaders.
I'm taking my leaders with,
I
and
hadn't
I was
thought
talking to a
about
youth
that.
pastor from San Diego. He's bringing up 14 tonight to the event. And I remember those being the best moments.
But don't you have a hotel room?
I do have a hotel,
Because you
even
didn't
though it's
realize
6
it
miles
was
away.
6 miles away.
I thought team training was in like Anaheim.
I thought he got a hotel because he needed to stay up and get ready for tomorrow.
Well, now that I've looked at the schedule, I actually do.
Yeah, two different perspectives.
But I remember, I mean, those
for
are
your volunteers.
still some of my favorite times were when we ate
Yeah.
together, we laughed together, we were on an overnight trip together, we had training together. I think shared memories, collective inside jokes.
When everybody
I'm
gets a
big on
parasite
this.
at the same time,
Yeah,
that's a good
food
moment. too.
poisoning. There's a lot of ways.
Well,
A lot of
when-
great
Team
things
that
that
craps
bond people
together.
together.
When we used to do PDYM, I can remember meeting teams and thinking, oh, they're gonna. This is good. They'll get some content. They're gonna get on the same page, but they're gonna forget the content,
They
and they're gonna
are.
remember all the
Memories.
memory making that.
That might have happened at PDYM. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
In team training, people are going to go, the content was stellar.
Yeah,
Totally.
And
we also-
got
for the
time
first
together.
week. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Anyhow, I'm big on this one. I
Teaming
love
up
this
the
stuff.
veterans and the newer youth workers to do ministry together is a great way too. You know, it's a great
Yeah.
way to empower your veterans to mentor,
Mm-hmm.
and a great way for your rookies to not feel like you've just thrown them in the deep end with no,
Okay, but I'm reading
flotation
between
away.
the lines on this thing, and I'm kind of sitting there thinking maybe what the issue that he has is he's got older, more experienced volunteers that are kind of maybe there's like a we know what we're doing
little
and we're
resistant even,
owning
yeah.
things
Oh, for
and we
sure,
have
that's what's
relationships. How do you like how do you deal with some of those
You know,
dynamics?
part of the web show is we try not to read between the lines.
Oh, okay.
You know what happens
Just
when you
assume.
assume?
That's right.
Yep.
Right
Ass
there.
and Yumi. I think part of what it is too. I mean, events and hanging out is great. I mean, that's what I love. I mean, I love that. We have people over to our house and all that stuff. I think part of it is too is you cast a vision for it and say, hey, as a team, we need to be loving each other, and that's the way. Jesus said the way the people on the outside will know who I am is the way we love each other, and so that is a big part of what our ministry is about. Not that everyone on the team is going to cry on everyone's shoulder and be best friends.
Right.
And do that because that's not necessarily going to happen. But friendship could,
Yeah.
and friendship should.
Well, dude, and
I think that's important.
To speak to you directly on that one, I don't know how many plates of spaghetti I've eaten at your house after services on Saturday night. I mean, it was an institution. We would go to Matt's house, and life was shared, laughs, food. I mean, that was a great run when you were around.
Yeah.
Before the dark years.
Or-
Before the dark.
But I think it's totally okay to pull your veterans together. We've done that before, where we've taken our veterans out and kind of targeted them, and here's what your
Yeah.
role is in this new season. And with
Yeah.
our rookie volunteers that come on, giving them hey, there's this wealth of knowledge in this room. How do we utilize it? So I think it's okay to separate those groups from time to time and really kind of cast vision for each group. So.
Well, if I'm a veteran volunteer and you pull me aside and say, "Hey, would you just keep your eye out? Just watch, make sure they're loved on, check in with them. I don't want to take your kid time away from Wednesday night. You still need to be with your small group and all that. But when you see them, would you just I'm gonna put you with them, and for this next year, just kind of walk with them when you can, check in with them. It values me as a veteran volunteer to say, in addition to my small group, my youth pastor sees something in me that wants me to, care and encourage them. That's a good move.
Yeah. A good book to read is The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni, who happens to be coming to Sacramento National Youth Workers Convention.
That
But
was smooth.
but
was
he
good.
he has this great
That was
way
a
of,
Duffy
of
Robbins
kind
joke
of.
coming out. I was like, oh no. Love it.
But I mean, there is a sense where you're trying to drive your youth ministry down, and everybody's got their wheels out of alignment, and so a lot of what he talks about is how you create health in an organization, and you keep things from being political and reducing that. And some of it's times is really clear communication about what is our objective, and we only hit that objective when we're all working together toward that objective, and making that very clear. Because I think sometimes you have a
Sounds
lot of
like
volunteers.
communism.
They've got their own. Get out of here. They've got their own agenda, their own direction they're going, and so you have to kind of make sure everybody's in alignment.
Speaking of communism,
My favorite topic.
look at how much fun we have together, Matlock.
I know.
Why doesn't Youth Specialties move out here?
Yep.
We got
Some of us are.
we
We're
got
all
room,
over the place.
we got room for you.
We are YS distributed.
We
There
are
you go.
YS distributed.
Just added people.
Well,
in Illinois.
This is episode 237, powered by
Empowered
YS. Yeah. Hey, also check out leadertrex.org. They do great stuff for student leaders, and YM360 has incredible curriculum. They have a new Jesus series coming
Don't
out.
miss it.
If you can't get into Azusa Pacific University, there's always Eastern University that you can try to get into because they pretty much take anyone. Is that what you wanted me to say, Duff?
If they can pay tuition, we'll certainly.
Yeah, if you can pay tuition.
And if you're anywhere near the Chicago area around March, Doug, Josh, myself,
Let's go.
Training.
See you
there.
training.
That's gonna
Bring the team.
that's gonna be a fun.
Bring the team.
I'm
And
looking
Katie
forward to
at
that.
National Youth Workers Convention next year.
Yeah.
What about Matt? Matt?
Well, I'm here on the
not gonna-
podcast.
He always
They get all
comes.
they need from the podcast.
That's true. YSteamtraining.com. Love you guys. Blessings.
How long was this show?
30 minutes. Boom.
30 minutes. 2 short shows. All right.
Okay.
Seemed like-
Did seem a little bit longer.
All right.